Hey guys, how you doing? Ron the Nut here. Alright, now working through some of the details here for installing radiators in the this is STH10. And the radiator is certainly going down here. I've got an SR1 360 and SR1 480, and I'm going to mount them to, I have two of those mounting brackets. There's one right here, so it'll be mounted in here, and I need to test fit the fans. If I'm going to do push-pull, pull or push, I'm going to go set the tree work fans and the Gentle Typhoons that I have in there and see what kind of spacing I have. So that's going to be the first order of business, figuring out what that is, and then getting the fans configured on those radiators and mounting them. And then the order of the items in the bays here, the optical bays. It'll be probably somewhere is going to be the optical drive. I have two. Not sure if I'll put them both in. I have a USB port, so I've got to figure out the configuration. Two optical drives, the reservoir, the dual bay reservoir, fan controller. I'll have to, probably going to do them the sequence I had them in the TJ11, but I need to mount the cages and the pieces that are required for that. And so yeah, so first it's going to be the radiators, and I'll be removing some of the paneling and pieces here to get the tubing down, and then probably this one here to bring the tubing back up to the CPU and the RAM. And then up top here is the power supply is going to go back here, one of those guys. And so I think that's the start. And then around the other side here is not necessary right now, but all of these mounting points here are for cages for hard drives and SSDs. And then I've got to configure this guy here for my front IO panel. So that's an easy one. I can probably do that one pretty quickly. So I'll videotape those and I'll show you them as I fit them in there. And then certainly I've got to get the motherboard onto that tray, and then but that'll be one of the last things that I do. Alright, so that's it for right now. Okay guys, it's got the SR1 480 mounted with 4 Treework low-speed fans, the TK121s. Now I have to get some spacers because these screws are designed to be used through a panel, and since I'm mounting this in a pull configuration, these are just going directly into the rad, and if I put them all the way through, they'll damage the fins on the rad. So anyway, so I got to get some spacers, and they don't have to be that thick. I just didn't put them all the way through. But this guy's mounted here, and then over here on the case down here, this side I'm going to use the Gentle Typhoon AP15s and a push config. So they're going to push through the 360 rad that'll be mounted on the other side of this. And then here I'm going to test fit the SR1 to 480 is going to go right here in this space on this side. And then I plan on having that Aska fan, which is a what is it? An Apache Black. That Apache Black fan is going to provide some directional airflow to blow out the back. So I've got a push config on the SR1 360 coming in here, and then I'll have the 480 mounted here, sucking air in. So they'll be both coming in down the center, and Back here is going to be the exit of the airflow. So let me test fit mount the SR1 480, and then I've got to also consider where all my fan power is going to wind up. I have a XPower X station I think is going to mount right up here in this area, and then with power coming down along the back here. So let's get it fitted in there, see what it looks like. So what I've done is mounted the SR1 480 with the Treework fans on it, and that's mounted on the other side here, so you can see that. So they get mounted here, and I just tacked it in. I don't put the one in the bottom one here yet, and it's mounted on there. And here's the other one right here. So there is space in the front. That's where I'm going to have to get the fittings and the tubing will be coming into here through this space. And then I'm going to have the 360 rad mounted here. This will be one of the fans, and then the other two fans will go here. And so that leaves some space in the front right here for a XPower X station to be able to connect up all the fan power. And then just so you can see, it's going to be a little tight, but not too bad. There's space here between this fan and where the 360 rad will end. This from here, from this point, it's about 2 1/4 inches with the rad. So the fans are on the push from the other side. I won't have any fans on the inside coming close to these guys. So there's going to leave about 2 inches or so, roughly, of space between these fans and the rad. So we'll see. And then of course what I have down there is an Apache black. It's got good static pressure and centralized airflow that will blow air out, and then I have ventilated panel here that'll blow the air out through here. I have another one for this guy, but I don't know if I'm going to need it. It'll probably just be the ventilated panel here. Alright. That's it for right now. I went to Home Depot and got some spacers to put here, so that the screws wouldn't go all the way through the Treework fans and into the fins of the radiator. So anyway, I needed a spacing about 1/4 inch or so, and I found these washers, these flat washers that are thick. I probably could have used 2 of the black ones, these black washers instead, but I also had some of these finishing washers that also gave it some. So it turns out it looks pretty nice anyway, but for, you know, like, I forgot, 87 cents for a pack of 10 of these black washers, and then I think another $1 or so for a pack of 60 or 100 of these finishing washers. So anyway, so the fans are installed on the SR1 480, and since the SR1 480 is new, I also am flushing it out to make sure there's no pieces. Evidently there can be all kinds of pieces left from the manufacturing process in there. So flushing it, I originally have rinsed them out in the sink, but then I have to put distilled water in them. So I found something on Martin's Liquid Lab that had basically a setup where you can create a system to flush it out. I have distilled water, and I've got some distilled water in a bucket here, and I'll put the link up for where they did it. But basically what you got down there is a pond pump, and the pond pump is taking the liquid out, the distilled water, and put it into the radiator. And some of the fittings I had laying around, and then back into a filter, a water filter system. This is a GE one, and so it's going through here, filtering it out, and then putting it back into the bucket, which is the reservoir. And supposedly, and I got a lid for it, so there's no crap falls inside. But this was a setup that they had out there on Martin's Liquid Lab, and for like, I think total 70 bucks. The filter was like 36 or 40. That was the most expensive. This fountain pump or pond pump was like 23 bucks. So that's 60, and then the bucket was a buck, and the bucket, and I guess, and I had tubing, but you can buy tubing at the store for like 6 bucks for 10 feet. So for under 70 bucks, 75 bucks, and I do have other radiators, and actually I'll be, flushing my whole system, all the pieces that I take out of other builds to put in this build or any new one. So yeah, I'm gonna let it go for like 30 minutes and then take a look and see what kind of, see if there's anything at the bottom here. Can't really see anything right now, not with two, I need two hands, so I'm gonna let it go for a while. But anyway, the radiator is mounted on the bracket for the base down there. And what I need to do next is I need to flush the other SR1 360 and get them mounted. And I need to finish building this system up. Okay, I have the 480, the SR1 480 mounted with the Treework fans. The SR1 360 ran into some issues with the screws in order to get through the fan, through this SR1, through the bracket, the 480 bracket, and then into the radiator. Radiator required some M4 screws that I didn't have, so I went to Home Depot, and you can see under there it's protected. It doesn't hit the fins, but like I did on the Treeworks, I used the washer and a finishing washer, and rather than cutting the screws down. So I'll get this finished up and then installed, and then you'll be able to see both of the rads in the bottom there. Okay, got in the SR1 360 with the General Typhoon fans and a push towards the inside. I have the XPower X station, and I'll be tidying up those cables, but currently that's the plan. I got the front Black Apache ASCA connected up to the X station. I have all three of these connected up, and then the Treeworks, all four of those are all daisy chained together and into one. So I got plenty of space on that X station for more, but I used up all the 12-volt lines. And let's see what it looks like with regards to space. We got some room. What, about 2 inches maybe of space in there between the rads. Yeah, I mean, if I would have put a set of the APs on the inside, that's going to be like no room for the air to go. So, wow, that looks pretty good. I got that fan. I hope you can see that. The fan right down the end. It's going to be blowing in cool air from the front, hopefully directing it out back out this port here. So yeah, it's a tight fit. If I were to put another set of fans in there, I don't think I'm going to do that. So we're going to try it like that. So you got a pull coming in from the SR1 480 on the right side over there, and then you got a push coming in on the SR1 360, and then exhausting coming out the back here. So what's next? I got a temp probe that I need to put on that on one of those, on the output of the SR1 480, so I know what the temp is coming out of that radiator. I'm gonna have one. I have one coming out of the 360. So I know the temp coming out of the radiator 1, I'll know the temp coming out of radiator 2, and then I'm going to have another one after the chipsets, so I know after it's being heated up before it goes back into the reservoir what the temperatures are. And hope to be seeing all that in that Coolant's IMS 205. Alright. see. The fittings. Yeah. There's already one temp probe right there on the 360, the output of the 360. But that is going to be a problem. Yep, I'm going to have to get me some 45s at right angles. That's not working. Can't connect anything up to those quick disconnects like that. Alright. Okay, after that brain fart, I had a couple of dual rotary XPower matte black 90-degree extenders, and that'll get me out to where I need to be. So that was one, and I need to make sure that they're in there tight and they swivel around. And then the other brain fart was on the fans. I forgot to put a fan filter, so I've got had some Silverstone magnetic fan filters, which would be nice, but that's an aluminum bracket and the fans are plastic, so there's nothing really for them to stick to. So I screwed them in, and actually it turns out that the thickness of the fan filter was thick enough to keep the screws from touching the fin, so I didn't have to use the finishing washer and the washer that I used before. So alright, let me install it and see if we got clearance to connect up some tubing between these setups. Alright, now if you can see in there, we've got some we got them installed now, so those rotary 90 degrees have clearance and I can connect them. And then we have the other ones coming right out of the 480, so I'm going to test fit the connection between the two. One of course is going to come from the through here, from where the reservoir is, and into the bottom, and then out of here into here, and out of here to the chipset. I believe that's the way I'm going. So let's see if some tubing connections will work. Okay, now we're all done with all the brain farts. Got filters on there. We have rotary 90-degree fittings on the SR1 360, and we've got them in series, plumbed together. So plan is going to come from wherever I'm going to put the dual bay reservoir up there, and then down, and it will connect to the in on the bottom of the SR1, come back out and go to the in on the bottom of the SR1 480, and then come out and then come back, or actually it'll come out and go between the radiators and come up probably through this panel right here to feed the RAM chipset, CPU, RAM, and then back to the reservoir until I get graphics cards. So looks like we got a fit in there. The XPower X station, again, I got to fix the cabling up so nobody's intruding on anybody else, and it's nice and neat. But once I know everything's working, I'll tidy it all up later. But right now it fits, plenty of space to move around. The power will come in from the other side to that board, and that's where the power cables will be coming down from the power supply, which is going to be way up there in the back. So we're on our way now. Still waiting for the temperature sensor for the output of the on that guy there. So there's going to be a temp sense on that guy, so I know what the temperature is coming out of him. All right.